Hey everyone, welcome back. In part 4, we took a deep dive into the core of Atomfall's technological brilliance. We explored the game's stunning visuals, immersive audio design, and state-of-the-art technical performance that bring its world to life. From dynamic lighting and detailed textures to adaptive soundscapes and seamless optimization, we uncovered how Atomfall fuses art and technology to create a truly captivating experience. Now, as we wrap up this technical journey, get ready to transition into the heart of the story. In Part 5, The Untold Story of Atomfall, a deep dive into narrative genius, will shift our focus to the rich narrative layers behind the game. Expect an in-depth exploration of character development, non-linear storytelling, and the thematic intricacies that make Atomfall's lore so engaging. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss the next chapter in our deep dive series. Stay tuned and join us as we unlock the narrative genius behind Atomfall. Atomfall is as much about its story as it is about its mechanics. Beyond the vivid environments, responsive gameplay, and stunning audiovisual presentation lies a narrative crafted to evoke emotion and reflection. In this section, we explore the layers of storytelling in Atomfall, from its narrative architecture and character arcs to the thematic symbols and interactive storytelling techniques that transform gameplay into an immersive narrative experience. Atomfall's narrative structure is built on the idea that the player is not just an observer, but a co-creator of the story. The game employs a non-linear narrative framework that allows multiple entry points into the story, encouraging exploration and player-driven discovery. Branching storylines. Rather than following a fixed linear plot, Atomfall offers branching pathways where the player's choices impact not only immediate outcomes, but also the overall trajectory of the narrative. The game presents moral dilemmas, ambiguous character motivations, and open-ended conflicts that require the player to reflect on the implications of each decision. Environmental storytelling. A key innovation in Atomfall is its use of the world itself as a storytelling device. The ruins, hidden messages, and ambient details scattered throughout the game are not mere background. They carry pieces of lore. A faded mural on a decaying wall might hint at a once-thriving civilization, while cryptic symbols carved into stone may reveal secrets of past conflicts. Interactive narrative devices. The narrative unfolds through in-game actions and environmental interactions. Instead of relying solely on cutscenes or exposition, Atomfall uses dynamic triggers that advance the story as the player explores. For example, unlocking a sealed door might not only grant access to a new area, but also reveal a hidden backstory about the game's central conflict. At the heart of Atomfall's narrative is a meditation on memory, loss, and the passage of time. The world is imbued with historical layers that serve both as a commentary on the impermanence of civilizations and as a mechanism to deepen the player's emotional investment. Fragmented narratives. The story is revealed through scattered fragments, audio logs, written journals, and environmental cues that piece together a broader history. Players must actively reconstruct the past by connecting these disparate elements, much like solving a puzzle. Cultural resonance. The narrative draws on themes of nostalgia and cultural memory. The ruins and relics scattered throughout the world are symbolic of a bygone era, inviting the player to reflect on the rise and fall of human achievements. This resonance is heightened by the contrast between the decay of old structures and the persistent spark of life that continues to flourish. Time as a character. In Atomfall, time is not a passive backdrop. It is an active force that shapes both the environment and the narrative. Seasonal changes, the gradual deterioration of structures, and dynamic weather systems serve as reminders that the world is in constant flux, echoing the transient nature of memory itself. Atomfall features a rich cast of characters, each of whom plays a critical role in driving the narrative forward. The game's protagonists and antagonists are carefully designed to embody the game's central themes, blurring the lines between heroism and villainy. The reluctant hero. The main protagonist is often portrayed as an everyman thrust into extraordinary circumstances. This character's journey from uncertainty to resolve mirrors the player's own progression through the game. The hero's internal conflicts, marked by doubts and flashes of hope, resonate on a personal level and invite players to see themselves in the struggle. Complex antagonists. Rather than presenting a one-dimensional villain, Atomfall's antagonists are imbued with complexity and nuance. They are not evil for the sake of being evil. Instead, their motivations are rooted in circumstances, ideology, and the inexorable pull of fate. This multidimensionality challenges the player to consider different perspectives and reflect on the nature of conflict. Supporting cast and companions. Secondary characters are far from mere sidekicks. They are integral to the narrative. Each companion brings a unique backstory, personal ambition, and a set of skills that not only assist the protagonist, but also enrich the tapestry of the game's lore. Their interactions provide emotional depth and serve as catalysts for the protagonist's growth. Dialogue in Atomfall is more than just conversation. It is a window into the souls of its characters. The game's writing is carefully crafted to reveal character traits, forge bonds, and build tension throughout the unfolding narrative. Naturalistic conversations. The dialogue is designed to feel organic, reflecting the personalities and histories of each character. Whether whispered in moments of quiet reflection or shouted during intense confrontations, every line is crafted to carry weight and contribute to the narrative arc. Dynamic exchanges. Character interactions are fluid and reactive. Choices made during dialogue sequences can alter relationships, unlock new story branches, or even change the tone of subsequent encounters. This dynamic interplay reinforces the player's role in shaping the story. Subtext and symbolism. Beyond the literal meaning of the words, much of the dialogue is laden with subtext and symbolism. References to lost eras, philosophical musings on fate, and cryptic warnings all serve to deepen the thematic resonance of the narrative, encouraging players to read between the lines. A recurring motif in Atomfall's narrative is the interplay between light and shadow, both literally in the visual design and metaphorically in the story's themes. This duality is central to understanding the game's exploration of hope versus despair, knowledge versus ignorance, and life versus decay. Visual metaphors. The game employs dramatic lighting contrasts to underscore key narrative moments. A burst of sunlight breaking through a darkened sky might symbolize a moment of clarity or hope, while deep shadows could represent the uncertainty or danger lurking beneath the surface. Emotional dichotomies. Thematically, light and shadow are used to explore the internal struggles of the characters. Moments of brilliance are often followed by periods of introspection and doubt, mirroring the ebb and flow of human emotion. This balance of opposites is central to the game's narrative philosophy. Narrative implications. The constant oscillation between light and shadow also mirrors the cyclical nature of history and the inevitability of change. As old orders collapse and new beginnings emerge, the game invites players to contemplate the transient nature of both triumph and tragedy. Another core theme in Atomfall's narrative is the quest for identity and the possibility of redemption. Characters in the game are often defined by their past actions, and their journeys are marked by a continuous struggle to reconcile with those actions in the pursuit of a better future. Personal journeys. The protagonist's path is fraught with moments of self-discovery and moral reckoning. Throughout the game, encounters with mentors, adversaries, and old acquaintances challenge the hero to confront their shortcomings and rediscover a sense of purpose. Redemptive arcs. Many characters, even those initially seen as antagonistic, are given the opportunity for redemption. These arcs are not presented as simple transformations. Rather, they involve complex, often painful processes of self-forgiveness and growth. This nuanced approach elevates the narrative beyond a binary of good versus evil. Collective identity. Beyond individual arcs, Atomfall's narrative touches on the idea of a shared cultural or collective identity. The remnants of a lost civilization, echoed in the ruins and relics throughout the game, suggest that personal and communal histories are intertwined. In this context, redemption is not just an individual endeavor, but a collective one, a hope for restoring what has been lost and forging a new future. Atomfall weaves elements of myth and folklore into its narrative, drawing on timeless stories and archetypes to enrich its world. Mythic archetypes. The narrative is peppered with archetypal figures and symbols: the wise elder, the fallen hero, the enigmatic trickster, each reimagined in the context of a futuristic yet nostalgically charged setting. These archetypes lend a timeless quality to the story, resonating with players on a subconscious level. Folkloric influences. Drawing inspiration from ancient legends and folk narratives, Atomfall embeds subtle references to myths that speak of creation, destruction, and rebirth. These influences are often conveyed through environmental cues, symbolic imagery, and even dialogue, creating layers of meaning that invite further exploration. Supernatural undercurrents. While rooted in a tangible, if decaying, reality, the narrative hints at supernatural forces at work. Mystical symbols, inexplicable phenomena, and moments of uncanny coincidence all contribute to an atmosphere where the boundaries between the known and the mysterious are deliberately blurred. Atomfall's approach to storytelling is uniquely integrated with its gameplay mechanics. The game does not rely solely on traditional expository methods. Instead, the narrative evolves organically as players interact with the world. Embedded narratives. Story fragments are woven into the gameplay through collectibles, environmental storytelling, and contextual interactions. A discovered diary entry or an overheard conversation might unlock memories of past events or hint at future conflicts, encouraging players to actively piece together the larger narrative puzzle. Dynamic world states. The game world reacts to the player's choices and actions, creating a feedback loop where narrative progression and gameplay are inseparable. Changes in the environment, such as altered lighting, shifting weather patterns, or modified character behavior, reflect the evolving state of the story. Player agency in storytelling. The design allows players to influence the direction of the narrative. Whether through dialogue choices, moral decisions during combat, or exploratory discoveries, every action contributes to a personalized narrative experience. This interactivity ensures that no two playthroughs are exactly alike, as the player's journey through Atomfall's story becomes a reflection of their values and choices. Cinematic storytelling is used judiciously in Atomfall to punctuate major narrative developments without disrupting the flow of gameplay. Seamless transitions. Instead of relying on long, disconnected cutscenes, the game uses in-engine cinematics that are directly integrated into the interactive experience. Transitions between gameplay and cinematic sequences are smooth, ensuring that the narrative never feels like an interruption, but rather an extension of the player's journey. Emotional pacing. Cinematic moments are carefully timed to heighten emotional impact. Whether it is the quiet revelation of a character's backstory or the explosive climax of a conflict, these sequences are designed to resonate deeply, leaving the player both moved and motivated to continue their quest. Visual storytelling. The cinematics are underscored by strong visual cues, a play of light and shadow, carefully framed shots, and symbolic imagery that complement the narrative themes explored throughout the game. This visual storytelling ensures that even without dialogue, key emotional and thematic points are clearly communicated. Atomfall's narrative is a dialogue between history and innovation, tradition and progress. It exists in a world where the remnants of the past inform the possibilities of the future, and where every forgotten relic carries the weight of centuries. In many ways, the narrative of Atomfall is a journey through history, a search for meaning in the remnants of what once was. Historical echoes. The game is filled with relics and locations that serve as time capsules, preserving the cultural and technological achievements of a lost civilization. Players uncover these echoes in their quest to understand the present state of the world, piecing together a narrative that spans generations. Lessons from the past. As the player traverses crumbling cities and ancient ruins, the narrative invites contemplation on the rise and fall of empires. The story suggests that the mistakes and triumphs of the past are not isolated events, but are lessons that continue to shape the future. This perspective adds a layer of gravitas to the player's journey, transforming exploration into a reflective pursuit of wisdom. While deeply rooted in historical context, Atomfall's narrative is also forward-looking. It envisions a future where the lessons of the past inform the creation of something new and transformative. Hope amidst decay. Central to the narrative is the idea that even amid decay and loss, hope endures. The struggle for identity, redemption, and renewal is woven throughout the story, suggesting that from the ashes of the old, new life can emerge. The role of the player. In shaping the future, the player is positioned as an agent of change. The decisions made throughout the game do not merely recount history. They actively influence the direction of what is to come. This sense of responsibility and possibility imbues the narrative with a powerful, forward-thinking energy. Transformation through adversity. The narrative posits that adversity is both a test and a catalyst for transformation. The conflicts and challenges faced by the characters are not insurmountable obstacles. Rather, they are the crucible through which true change is forged. This theme is central to the story's message of resilience and renewal. At its core, Atomfall's narrative is about creating a connection between the player and the game world, between characters and their histories, and ultimately, between past and future. The emotional weight of the story is delivered through a blend of carefully crafted dialogue, immersive environmental storytelling, and interactive narrative mechanisms that ensure the player feels both the impact of their choices and the depth of the world around them. Empathy through engagement. By inviting players to actively participate in the narrative, Atomfall fosters empathy. The player is not merely watching a story unfold, they are living it, with every choice resonating in the world. This active engagement transforms the narrative into a personal experience. Moments of introspection. The narrative is punctuated with quiet moments of introspection where the weight of history, loss, and hope is most palpable. These moments allow players to pause and reflect, drawing them deeper into the emotional landscape of the game. A story that grows with you. Perhaps the most compelling aspect of Atomfall's narrative is its adaptability. The story grows and evolves with each playthrough, ensuring that the emotional journey is never static. This living narrative, responsive to the player's actions and decisions, is what sets Atomfall apart as a truly immersive storytelling experience. Atomfall's narrative and storytelling are a testament to the power of interactive media to convey complex, multi-layered stories. By merging a non-linear narrative structure with rich character development, thematic depth, and innovative interactive storytelling techniques, the game creates a tapestry of stories that is as intricate as it is compelling. In this section, we have explored the architecture of the story, how environmental storytelling and player-driven narrative devices create a dynamic, immersive experience. Character development. The nuanced arcs of heroes, antagonists, and supporting characters whose journeys are interwoven with the game's central themes. Themes and motifs. The exploration of light and shadow, identity and redemption, history and future, which form the emotional backbone of the narrative. Interactive storytelling. The seamless integration of story and gameplay that makes every action meaningful. The convergence of past and future. How the narrative bridges the gap between what was, what is, and what could be, inviting players to reflect on the cyclical nature of history and the promise of renewal. Ultimately, Atomfall's story is not a static tale recounted in a single playthrough. It is a living, breathing experience that evolves as the player does. It challenges us to reconsider the way stories are told in interactive media, demonstrating that when narrative, gameplay, and art come together, the result is a journey that is as emotionally resonant as it is intellectually stimulating.